Welcome to Redlining. Just a quick little message. We're going to be doing live podcasts from Lakeside Odyssey. Was that the week of the 1st of December?
Yes, the week of the 1st. We're going to be there for one day and we're going to be doing podcasts at the festival. You can come and watch us do podcasts. We're going to talk to artists, performers, event organisers, anyone who wants to come and talk to us.
Anyone at all, except public people, because they frighten me. I don't like commoners. Anyway, tonight on the show, we've got all the way from Germany, we've got Sanoi, who is a DJ and producer. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I think right now I'm at the point where I'm actually from New Zealand.
You're actually from New Zealand?
Ah,
How long have you been in New Zealand for?
Since 2015. You know, when I realized that I'm actually like, oh, you're a Kiwi now. When I got booked to play Homegrown in Wellington, I'm like, yeah.
You've arrived.
You're Kiwi now.
So are you planning on getting citizenship? Have you got citizenship? Or
No. I have permanent residency and I am not willing to give up my German passport because...
Can you not have dual if you've got a German passport?
No.
So
The Germans are like, hell no. If you want to be part of our economy and country, you have to have...
Is that right?
So here's the difference, right? Here's the difference between a Brit and a German, right? With Germany still being in the EU, like there's something about keeping, you know, your German passport, right? Being British, there's nothing about keeping the British passport. It's worth nothing at the moment. Out of the EU, can you go to anywhere in? No, you can't go anywhere in Europe. What can I do with it? Not much. So, New Zealand citizen now.
I was quite stoked to have my Dutch passport, but they originally couldn't do, like Germany, they didn't do the dual citizenship thing.
They did, so they changed it.
Yeah, they changed
maybe
it.
10, 15 years ago or something. And also, if you are born dual citizenship, you can have that. So my child, for example, has dual citizenship.
Yeah.
When they're 18, you have to decide.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know that. Well, I've got dual. I'm quite happy about that.
No permanent
the rules
resident
changed.
forever.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Fair enough. Anyway, you're in New Zealand now, and let's kick off with your new album, Echoes of Home. You've just released that. How's it going?
It's going good now that it's like out there. The numbers are not for me to worry about, but I think it's going quite well. People's reception has been warm and nice, and everyone is saying it's giving them lots of joy.
Yeah.
I have this thing where, like, if I put music out there, because it's instrumental music, the moment you listen to it and you have experiences or like feelings or whatever, it becomes yours more than mine. So if people come to me and say, this is beautiful and make me feel these things, I'm like, amazing, that's what I do it for.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so what was your inspiration behind this album?
Just wanted to write some cool music. Not that deep, this one.
Yeah.
Like the first one, my first album, the self-titled one was, I don't know, just working through some trauma and depression and just writing music as like I'm in lockdown, I'm gonna die. So that was that. And this one was, let's write some cool music and try to challenge yourself in the ways that you write the music.
Yeah.
So when did you start writing music?
I think when me and my uncle, I have an uncle who's a year older than me.
Wow.
Funky family, definitely. And he had we were really young, 12 or something, and he had a program on his computer called Dance EJ.
Yeah.
And that was horrendously ugly looking, and you had like little clips you could put on a timeline and made trance or something.
What kind of computer was it? Was it like an Atari or an Amiga? Or was
No,
it not that far back?
It was already like a desktop.
Oh,
yeah.
That's showing
With
my age.
Windows XP, maybe.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Nice.
Way back.
And that was cool. And he still has recordings. And you could like record vocals over it as well. So we had like a weird, those desktop mics that are common, this little triangle foot. And then one of those.
Yeah.
And did raps on that. And I don't know. I was like, man, this is the best.
Yeah.
And then my dad, he had Magic's Music Maker program and the DVDs. So when I visited him, he's a musician. So guitars and
Yeah.
I think lots of guitars.
Yeah.
And he showed me that. I was like, damn, this is cool. And then got a first computer. And then from then it was like 13 or something when I got my first shitty, very thick laptop.
Yeah.
And from then I was like, okay, Fruity Loops and Propeller Head's Reason, which I really liked because this studio thing of you have to flip it around and patch the cables and it's this 19-inch rec situation going on. Yeah. I always found that really fascinating. It taught me a lot about signal flow and how that works. And I mean, it's probably like not needed anymore, but I still want to have like a good 19-inch rack chain of mastering or whatever, like some bullshit.
And there's something about learning in an analog sort of linear fashion. It does make your knowledge of it and the why it works is a lot better.
So when you use your ears, right? This is using of your ears. So in the village I grew up, very small in the forest, there's a castle. And it's called Schloss Hamborn, which means like Castle Hamborn. It's built around this castle. Yeah. And this guy lived in there. He was like a music producer guy, and I think he did like in the 90s some stuff. And he heard me play drums one day and was like, man, you're cool, you want to jam and stuff. So he took me kind of under his wing, and we were just listening to cool music, and he showed me all these funky rumplers and samplers and like analog desk kit, like this massive 70s analog desk. Yeah. And that was cool to learn and just use your ears and also learn what all the plugins do.
Yeah.
Who were your influences at that time? What kind of music were you listening to?
I was deep into alternative rock music. I still like it, but that back in the day, I was an angsty teen, long hair.
Was this late 90s? Early 2000s?
I am 30. So that
30.
was that was in the mid 2000s.
Oh wow!
Mid 2000s. Wow! We're mid 90s, so it was like angst was a very different thing back then.
Oh no, we were in the emo phase.
I think we still sort of had like Smashing Pumpkins and
that sort of thing,
Nirvana and that sort of kind of.
But it was different from emo.
We're second wave for sure of that.
Yeah.
So did you experiment with like get more sort of guitar based music?
Oh yeah, I played drums, like all really into playing metal drums and guitars. I was into like shredding and stuff.
Did you have long hair?
I had longer hair. For sure, I had longer hair.
Have you sampled Rammstein?
No. But I enjoyed the music back in the day for sure. Yeah. Maybe I still like it. There's some because it's so dumb. It's so good. It's just clever.
I was on stage with them during Big Day Out. I was doing camera operating on the Big Day Out, and I was on stage with Rammstein, and it was like, you can go here, but you cannot ever go there, or there. And I'm like, why? I'm a cameraman. I can go wherever I want. But I stuck by the rules. Next thing you know, the pyrotechnics went off, and I was like, fair enough. I would have died. But that was next level. They are insane. You Germans are crazy. I love it.
So we have our moments.
So that's a little bit different to the sound that you're producing now. So where did the kind of transition come?
Oh man, I studied like music design and all this. I was just experimenting and trying to figure out as much as I can about electronic music, but never did anything with it to like get good at something. It was like, oh, this genre is cool. Yeah. I want to figure out that, and also like a little bit. It comes down to at least a good pair of headphones or something.
Yeah.
And I never had any of that. And I remember living in Berlin, being poor as fuck, and then having a little iPod docking station as with a tiny subwoofer as my main speakers, being like, yes, this slaps. And so doodled around for a long time, made horrendous, very bad dubstep music at some point, and then tried the house thing, and it's just like couldn't understand it, figure it out, and then came here and quit music for like 3-4 years or something. Didn't do anything. And then I started going to this festival, Shipwrecked, with my girlfriend. She was like, you gotta come here. And I was like, damn, that's what I was missing. Being out there and experiencing it. with people and making friends and just like soaking up in a different environment also where like, I was doing it in a different point in my life. And then I started to make like down-tempo music, and all of a sudden all the things clicked into place.
Yeah.
And then I got my first release with legendary label Bar 25 from Berlin.
Yeah.
And that was all I needed, foot in the door.
Yeah. Sweet.
And since then, I very much have been able to get more away from making exclusively dance floor music or functional music, and then now just make whatever I want.
I had a quick listen. Well, not a quick listen. I listened to your album today, and it's an album that you would probably listen to at home or in the car, or it's not one really for the club, right?
Maybe like 2 tracks or something if you play them a little bit faster. Could work in an open air situation. But I just want to write music that I like to listen to, especially with album. It's like club tracks. That's something. That's a technical exercise, and writing an album is an exercise in make something pretty. I don't know, or make something that sounds that's different, and you can listen over and over again and find new things.
And I also saw that you had one of your tracks is remixed by Gabriel Ananda. I'm a big fan of Gabriel Ananda, and I know what we're going to come on to in a minute, because I listened to his podcast as well today. I want to know about that.
My side of the story is even better. Better.
Shall I give context here, right? So I'm listening to... So Gabriel Ananda is he's German, isn't he?
Yeah,
a German sort of melodic techno producer and DJ, and he's been around a long time, and he's produced some awesome music. And he has a podcast, and... Jonas had a guest mix on it. You also invited him to do a remix for one of your tracks. And at the beginning of the podcast, Gabriel Ananda's talking about the mix. And he tells this story about when he was younger, meeting a woman, I think it was on the bus. Was it on the bus? A pregnant woman on the bus, and just thinking she was like this sort of mysterious, glamorous woman that he sort of was kind of in awe of. And then at the end, he just turns around, and she was pregnant, and turns around that apparently she was pregnant with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's even better. So we come from the same village. So
right.
We went to the same school. I know his siblings, and his mom was my neighbor.
Yeah.
And he went to school with my mom. So I always knew, Gabriel Ananda, right? He comes from the village. Didn't know any of his music. All my friends who were a little bit older were like, this shit slaps.
Yeah.
And so when I was like 14, 15, I made my first CD, rubbish, of course, and I gave it to his mom, my neighbor, and she gave it to him, and feedback was, that was like, the music was kind of shit, and not, when it's like not of the time, like it's not what's hot at the moment. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
And that always sat with me weirdly.
Yeah.
And so when we did this album, I was like, let's hit him up. And so the label hit him up, and he said, "Oh, this is a beautiful music. Never heard of this artist before.
Yeah.
I'd love to do the remix." So we did all this. He did the remix, and then at some point I reached out. I was like, "Yo, man, by the way, I'm this person." He's like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
That must have blown his mind.
Yeah. He was. It was really weird, and we talked about it. He was like, "Oh yeah, man. I remember that CD actually. That was shit." And I was like, "Yeah, I know that was shit. I know that was shit." But it's like that. Weirdly, that was one of those things that always like drives me to try to make better music.
Yeah.
Do you feel endorsed by someone like that when they do a remix for you? I mean, is that something that you aspire to?
That's all I want is the recognition from the people I look up to.
Cool.
Like these are the people that inspire me to make music. When they say like, "Wow, that's beautiful," I'm like, "Yes, you're doing something right." It's like this. You always like you put so much effort and years into trying to get better at something. I know a lot of people who are shit because I don't know. It's like this thing of understanding. I don't know, people. It's like talent or something, right? If you have that, then great, and if not, it's going to be way harder. And that's always this good validation of, oh my God, I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah.
I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah. That's what we all need, I think. I think all of us, every human being needs that little bit of validation.
Yeah.
They need that little bit
And
of,
especially today
right.
with the music scene, like the music worldwide is so, like there's so much music. Everyone makes music and all the music is so similar. And then to be able to get that recognition from those people that you look up to, that is what it's, that is very special.
And we also live in a time too where we're very susceptible, people who work, in front of cameras or behind microphones or anything like that, to negativity. Because it's so easy just to get on a keyboard and tell someone they fucking suck, without knowing who they are, just some casual listener. And they probably have no idea about anything. But when you get validation from someone who, you respect, then it's like, who cares? Everything's good. You know what I mean?
It's like people talking about how shit our podcasts are.
Pretty much all the time. Fucking guts me every time. But then we go out and all these randoms come up to me and say, I love your podcast, man.
Yeah.
And they're always DJs. And I'm like, that's who I give a shit about.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, good for you, man. That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
Cool. When was the last time you were back in the homeland, the motherland?
2019. We're going next year. We just booked tickets, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
There's like 10% of a down payment for a house. Jesus Christ, what is going on here? But
I don't know where you live. That's not 10% in New Zealand, bro. That's not even an eighth. Anyway.
Well, we're doing it. And
cool.
It's going to be next year. And then everyone's like, yo, you going to tour?
Yeah.
Playing shows? I'm like, I could, but I'm also like kind of, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I just want to hang out with my family. And
Sweet.
Can't you hit up Gabriel Nanda and go, you got anything? Can I come and support you?
well, I don't think he plays that many shows these days.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah. How old's he?
Oh, he's
60s?
No, he's not that
No,
old. No, he's probably maybe 50s. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
50s.
So, obviously you DJ, but you also play live. What's the kind of ratio between playing live and DJing now? And what do you prefer to do?
That really depends. Playing live with practice is lots of fun. Mm-hmm. Without practice, it's very nerve-wracking, and I want to die. So for my album release party, I was like, hey, can you play an hour and a half live?
Wow.
I said, I played an hour here and an hour there, 2 different versions of the live set. Mm-hmm. I can try to combine them, and I just ran out of time to practice, so I just had to wing it and remember how to do it.
Yeah.
And that was all right, but it was very stressful. But the other times before, I enjoyed it a lot. It's just that the way my live set is, I don't play with the computers. I don't have Ableton. It's just all hardware.
Okay.
Yeah. Samplers
Right.
and but it's the tracks of the album, like how they are coming out, just with more me being able to change or do stuff like that.
Do you use instrumentation in your productions?
What do you mean?
Like, do you use guitars or anything like that in there?
No, not guitars. Guitars, I have always a hard time to not make sound cowboy and desert or kind of like rocky, which I hate.
Yeah.
Like rocky.
Everyone loves a little trance country. I mean, that's a new genre. We're going to kick it off. Yeah.
It's just really hard. I'm like stupidly opinionated, which I'm always like, why are you so opinionated? But then it's like,
because you're German.
I know what I like. This is like,
that's fair.
I know what I like, and I'll just stick to that. But I like to use strings and lots of pianos.
Yeah.
Like, I'm really into those cinematic,
cool.
melancholic piano things that are like really closely mic'd and with felt, and that is. It's very nice.
You're a Hans Zimmer fan, I can imagine.
Sometimes. Sometimes. I find Ludwig Göransson, or whatever his name is, way more interesting.
Yep.
Way more interesting. He has less of a... Hans Zimmer's a little bit cheesy sometimes, when he...
Sometimes. Only sometimes. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
There's a little bit where I'm like, man, you are a little bit older already,
Yeah.
But that's, because we always want like edgy, fresh stuff. So Yeah, but I'm actually trying to get into scoring, or
I was going to say, it sounds like that seems like a natural progression.
A friend of mine, he does TV and movies and stuff, and so I was like, man, on the weekend actually, I was like, man, just send me like a scene or something to score and see if that is something that I feel, because it's like scoring a film is you need to understand what the role of the music is. And depending on how you do it, you have the ability to enhance the feeling, enhance the dialogue, or your role is to convey subtext of motivation or whatever, or you just make background or ambience or atmosphere, all these kind of things.
Yep. But all of that strikes emotion in some way, whether it's ambience
exactly. And it's like also, where do you put yourself in the scene, in the context? Because you can't put yourself in the front. You can't write like a banging massive score, and it's like, so serving the dialogue and serving the context and all this kind of thing. I'm really interested in figuring this out, because that's how I treat writing my tracks as well. I treat it writing like stories. Yeah. Like you always have like your narrative element, your hero element or whatever, your and that as a journey and transformative things throughout the track, and everything else is serves that idea.
When you put together your album, did you have a sense of story when you were sort of putting it together? Some of these tracks, because I especially the first track, just remind me what it's called.
Life is Good.
Yeah, it definitely has a journey in that track, because it's got a nice build, and it's sort of
that was one of those things where I was like, okay, make the ultimate build-up track, and it just keeps on building the atmosphere and just the vibe and the energy, and make it extremely positive. Because we tend to like especially this melodic, deep house sound tends to be quite melancholic. A little bit like deep, and have some darkness to it as well, some chunk sometimes as well.
A lot of minor keys, sort of.
Yeah. And I like me a good positive track as well in the set.
That's cool.
And it's sometimes because people are like so used to like always like in the zone, that especially it doesn't have to be like that tune, but just in general, major key tracks hit different on the dance floor.
Yeah.
How do you transition into sort of DJing? Obviously, depending on where you're playing, when you're playing. Like we saw you set at Explore this year, which was amazing. But obviously, it's more of a sort of club up-based, up-tempo sort of set, right?
I used to play deep down-tempo and very dreamy stuff, and then you experiment a little bit, get a little bit faster, and people are like, that's cool, we'll book you here. We'll get your set time from 4 in the afternoon to 8. And then that happens, and then you get booked at better, like more later, not better, later time slots. And so I've been just, for the last, year or year and a half, so just playing banger fun sets, because that's where people want me to play.
It's cool.
But the music's getting way more chill. That makes sense. Like, well, I think in two directions.
It's the nature of the style. It's still melodic, but you just started playing later at night, So it's got to sort of, stay in that kind of area of the melodic house and techno, but still have
And I just always play to have fun. Like I'm not into this DJ elitism or whatever. Just people need to have a good time. I have 90 minutes or something to have a mega party with everybody. Let's just go for it and take people where they want to go. And sometimes I'm like, I feel like we're enough of this now, and then want like 90 degrees somewhere different. But as I always feel like, as long as you're behind it as a DJ, and this is exactly what you want to do, and people know, okay, he wants us to go here, then it's good.
There's some remarkable VJ technology coming out these days, whether it's AI or whatever it is, and it sounds like your stuff would benefit to that on a grander scale. You know what I mean?
I have been very much flirting with visuals and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I have weird particular ideas of what I want.
Yeah.
And I haven't found the right artist yet to make them come alive.
Ah.
But I want something that is interactive and easy to read. So you want, let's say, like you play at, Explore, and then all the way when they come around the corner, they can see the Crystal Palace and they see the visuals. They still need to be able to understand that. Be like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
So it's like finding this compromise about complexity and readability and contrast and color and all these kind of things.
Yeah.
And it kind of wanted to be more generative. So not pre-programmed loops, but something that reacts. Because every DJ mixers are all MIDI controllers as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So you could just chuck a MIDI cable out and and send that to the computer program that generates the visuals.
Yeah.
And control that live. That's definitely something I'm really keen on. And I worked with this company called Disguise on something like that, but just couldn't quite get there I had to size down because of strikes and the movie industry.
Oh, yeah.
So we lost the people.
Yeah.
We were almost there, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, everything. Now I'm thinking that the music industry is affected by the film strikes. Selfish bastards. What the hell?
Nope.
No.
Not really.
We were talking before we came on air about families, and you've got a 9-month-old baby.
Almost 9 months.
Almost 9 months. How's that affected your all your sort of time to make music play out? How's it sort of changed your life? Shall we say?
Well, before I had a baby, it was, you get a full-time job. I do work in a software company, and then you do your music thing, and then you go in the studio, and then people come to you and be like, hey man, can you track doctor my track, and can you produce here for me, and all these kind of things. And I was like, yeah, cool, I have the time. And then you have a baby, and then you have none of that because you come home from your job, and then it's like, look after your child, which is awesome, which I want to do, and then it's just constant, no time. No time. I haven't written any cool music. Maybe there's one thing I made a couple of weeks ago that might be something, but it is quite full on, and I think that will change. But having a full-time job and a baby and then trying to do music, one of that is going to suffer because it's not enough time in the day to be able to do all those things well. And job, I need to support my family and myself, and family, of course, is natural. So also creativity. You can't be creative when you're tired.
Yeah, true.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
You sit there and then you make beats, and it's just like, man, nothing's happening. The muse just doesn't come,
Where do you get your inspiration from? Or where have you got your inspiration from in the past?
That's always the question. I'm not that deep. I don't go and look at the birds flying like, wow, those pattern of the wings just really inspires me to make this rhythm. Now I just sit down, I make a kick drum, and then then I make a groove around that or something, and that most of the time the kick drum already dictates what the rest will be. If it's like fat or something, depending on what space is there for bass. And then I make a groove, drums, 8 bars, 16 bars, and then just start to jam and write bass lines or something. And then when that is already there, and that's good, you already have all you need, basically, to make something where like, that's cool. And then the rest on top is just there to make a track work over 7 minutes or something.
So what other artists have inspired you then in the past, along the same genre of what you're doing?
My favorite artist of all time is Stimming. He's a guy from Hamburg. He plays exclusively live, and he makes very incredible minimal techno house, I would say. But it's like the most beautiful music as well in the world.
Yeah.
It's a very musical guy. He's like plays the violin and the piano and records everything himself, and he's a mega nerd and super weird about it, and I love it. And
yeah.
He does gear reviews as well, if you want to check him out on the internet. Stimming gear reviews for electronic T-Mobile electronic music or something.
Oh, really?
And his music is so unique and individual and different.
Yeah.
Because he never tries to sound like anybody else except himself. That I aspire to get to this point where, first of all, I don't give a fuck what everybody else is doing in the scene, and I find this way of expressing myself that is unique to me. And I think somewhat I have it already, but people are like, that's your tune, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, that's my tune. How can you tell? It's like, we can hear it.
Yeah.
But just to be able to get to this point where I know that every element I write is good enough, because what tends to happen is when you start out making music and you're a couple years in and you like know how to make it sound all right, and you start writing tracks and you're like, something's missing. You just keep on chucking elements in there because you feel like what's missing is more movement, is busyness, but it's not the busyness that is missing. It is maybe your idea is not good, or you just need to have more faith and resolve those feelings of something that's missing through modulation and building tension and release in the elements through filter or whatever. And I want to get to this point where I can use less elements and be like, this is amazing.
Are you quite self-critical when it comes to producing your own music?
I'm the absolute worst. It's horrendous. But I found out I mastered the skill of saying, this is as good as it's going to be. Finish it, render it out, do the mix down. It's not going to get any better.
Do you have any sounding boards here in New Zealand that you sort of send tracks to and go, what do you think of this?
Oh, yeah. The guys from Outer Sorts.
Yeah.
And I know these people who are they always have something to say, even if there's nothing to say, which is really good, because then they pick on something where I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool, interesting. For the next one, maybe I'll think about that. So this is one of those things. The feedback I get, I will not apply to the track, unless it's something like, I sent it to my mastering guy in Australia. He's like, take 1 dB of the clap down. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I'm not going to do that. But like feedback of stuff where people are like, I don't really know about this one. I'm like, okay, apply it to the next track you make, because that's how you progress, and you learn this abstract, the application of these things in an abstract way, knowing like are not necessarily coupled to an element. They're coupled to the function of the element.
Cool. How much of your music production is improvisation? Like once you get started, you've got to.
Yeah. I would say like when I start, I no shame, I use loops and sample packs and all this kind of stuff, because if you are in the flow state, cool music comes out.
Yeah.
If you sit there and you take one sample after the other and you move it around and just spend 3 hours trying to make a percussion line work, you're not getting anywhere. You're never going to get in this flow state of where time slows down and the inspiration comes. So I just chuck that in there. I'm like, feels good. Move on, right? The next thing. Oh, what do I need? I need like a little, thinking the function, right? I need something bouncy, or I need a quick organic shaker. And you find a loop, chuck it in, move on to the next thing. And then like, what I think is the next thing. Okay, bass. Yeah. Bouncy deep bass. A couple presets on the hardware synth. Go through it, write something. Oh yeah, cool. Write MIDI. And so always trying to stay in this flow of, it sounds nice.
Yeah.
When that breaks, it's over. You can go home. Like, you have to shut down. But you can do this for a while and just keep on like adding things, and they all sound nice together. And it's always like, here's a little bit of a gap, and there could be a little element that responds to the bass or something. Call and response, a lot of things.
Yeah.
And then when I'm like done, close it, go home, open the next day, and be like, okay, what do we have actually here? Solo all the things together and make sure that the least amount of things still sound good together. And then start arranging straight away. Just like be like, okay, you have like your main thing here, your melody, whatever, and then just do intro, easy, little breakdown, and then just do the arrangement thing.
Yeah. It sounds like you've got like kind of a set, not a set way of doing things, but you've got your own way of sort of putting music together. So here's my next question: is that you've done a few collaborations? How does that work, collaborating with other people? Because there's got to be a bit of give and take, right?
Yeah. It's actually very similar when it's like with the guys from Beacon Bloom. I love working with them. We do like the initial jam, and we just get some cool ideas together and make like a loop or a little something, gets the instruments going, and they're always like, maybe, they always push me to do weird things, which I like, because I'm like, why? It's like, no one's going to notice. You're on the dance floor, 8 bars, 16 bars, just like, you're looking for this pattern, and they're like, yeah, but what if we come in on 2 with the kick drum or something, So that's really cool. And then it's the next day, basically, we already, I don't know, I go to work, and then they start already arranging and writing vocals. And I just let them do the thing, because I just know they know how it's going to be. And if I say, this is not it, but most of the time they just take what's there. And I come and I'm like, that's awesome, but this little thing goes to here now. And they're like, let's go.
Yeah.
So,
Where do you source your vocalists from?
He's from Beacon Bloom, from Christchurch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a Christchurch boy.
Yeah.
He's a pop, electro, synth pop house, deep progressive trio.
Yeah.
They're touring America right now.
Right, gotcha. All right.
Do you use any other vocalists?
I'm trying sometimes, but I'm very, very particular about what I like and what I need.
So how do you go about writing lyrics then?
I don't write lyrics. I write. It's absolute rubbish if I write lyrics.
Fuck that off.
It's like the cheesiest stuff ever. It's like, I don't get it. It's like writing in metaphors and pictures and.
So how do you know if a track needs a vocal then? Or do you go out and go?
It's more like I want to make a track with a vocal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never have this like, this track needs a vocal, because I write the vocal as a piece of, as a synth line or a melody or something. I treat mostly the vocals like as part of an instrument. The lyrics don't matter that much to me, because I'm not trying to write pop here. They're just something that if you want to listen to it, and it takes you on a cool, it's metaphors and pictures and all this kind of stuff, but it's more part of the instruments.
Sure.
Which vocalists, by the way, hate, because they're like, but I'm the star. I'm like,
So who does write? You get the vocalist to write the lyrics, do you?
Yeah. We write them, it's like, hey, like write something. Like, that's why I struggle writing with people, because they're mostly writing about hey baby and stuff. And I'm like,
what you need is someone from the emo genre to write something really depressing.
But the Beacon Bloom guys, the Ryan, he writes amazing vocals. They're always like very picturesque and
That's cool. I love the collaborative way that you do things.
Oh, me too. That's my favorite. Like, the more I collaborate, my next album that I want to write at some point, I want it's going to be full collaborative album.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay with writing with pop artists and having cheesy stuff happening. That's part of it, I'm embracing it. I want to see what we can do with it. It's very exciting.
If there was anybody you could collaborate with, who would it be?
Ramsey.
David Hasselhoff.
I don't know. There's maybe someone like David Bowie or something. You know, he's dead.
Yeah,
but not just.
Sampled
it's
or something.
not because. Like, I think the weird ideas would be really interesting, and he would get really into the electronic, the housey bit.
Yeah.
Are you a Kraftwerk fan?
Sure. I appreciate them for what they did for all of us, and some of the tracks are quite catchy. But some of the tracks are just sound like very shitty drum machines as well, and you just listen to.
Well, they were. I mean, they were the pioneers of that kind of music. So, you would have thought they would have moved on by now, but obviously not.
Nah, they're still doing the same stuff. They're putting robots on stage. They're not even on stage themselves. It's a traveling exhibition or something.
Yeah. Nah, fair enough. So, what have you got coming up? So, you're pretty busy over the summer.
Yeah. I have lots of shows. Like 16 shows or something till March.
Oh wow! Are they
festivals?
Mainly festivals, being the summer.
Just festivals.
When you get booked for a festival, do you get booked as a DJ, or do you go? Actually, can you bring your live show here, or do you make that decision?
Yeah, I make that decision by naming my price for the live show.
So how much money you got? That's a DJ then.
It depends. I think the live show I want to. That's too nice. It's not festival. Now, maybe now, it's more venue, and we're gonna do visuals. So in next winter we're gonna go on tour with that and with amazing visuals, and then do like really want to play in a church, for example, so we're doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be more...
So it's more like a show.
Sit down. A show. Sit down. We're going to do ambient and play the tracks and all this kind of stuff. But of a festival season, people like what I do. I DJ and I do my job, and it's like, make party. I'll make party.
What's your favourite festival to play?
Shipwrecked.
Yeah, is that kind of? It's like that. That's like the original, where you sort of.
Yeah, I've been going there since 2016 every year, and one time I was like with my partner. I was like, you know what? Next year I'm gonna play main stage, and somehow I did it. And I don't know. I feel like there's the community and the spirit is really nice there, and it's cool, and see everybody progress as well.
Yeah.
Do you kind of
it's home?
Probably with well, I mean, sort of following on for that with Shipwreck. Do you hang around for most of the festival because it is Shipwreck rather than sort of turning up?
Oh no, this one is we go for 3 days and we'll stay and bring the family, and everyone's there, and it's like hanging out with the friends, and people starting to have families now too, and so that's really cool for us. But a lot of the other ones are just, I have to I can't festival a whole summer. So it's just, you go, you show up, you're nice, and you do your job, and then it's either you go to sleep or drive back home.
Yeah.
Which is also fun to do.
So this will be your first Shipwrecked with child.
Yeah. It's very exciting, very exciting. I can't wait for the guy to be in the booth. No, maybe he might be sleeping. He's sleeping, but we'll probably get him in the booth for somebody else.
It's all right. You can tell your partner how it went.
We'll find a babysitter. Okay. We'll find a babysitter.
Well, those cute little pink headphones that babies wear. I think.
We have 2 pairs. We have a blue one and a funky colored one.
Yeah.
To match with different outfits.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I think it's adorable. That is so cute. I love it when you see that, and even the kids are still like looking around going, what the fuck is going on?
So last weekend, actually, we took him to his first festival, and he enjoyed it. And I think he was like Chico Rally was playing in the afternoon, and the guy's got his little twerk on. I was like, come on, man, not drum and bass. But if he wants to do it, that's fine.
Is he standing yet? Is he in the standing, walking stage?
Yeah, dude. He's like standing and pulling up on everything, just standing and being very very chuffed with himself.
Walking yet or no?
Nah,
Not yet.
Thank God.
Yeah, once they get walking, you can't take your eyes off them.
Scoot's already around the house and looks.
Yeah.
Where is it? They come around, he eats some cardboard.
Gone are the days you can just leave them on their back and fuck off somewhere, you know? He'll still be there.
Oh, you're still there.
Still there. Talking of headphones, we were talking earlier about the headphones that you use. You use so you've got these in-ear monitors that are molded to your ears. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
I always was curious, and I played with Sennheiser HD25s for a long time, and I was like, yeah, they're really good, everybody. And then
is it because everyone's using them?
Yeah, they're like
those plasticky ones, right?
The ones that we were talking about earlier.
I'm just like, they're so. How can they be worth that much? They're so plasticky.
Because
anyway,
like $350, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, they're people in broadcasting love them, boom operators love them, and all those kind of people. They're quite tight, and you sit on top of the ears and all this kind of stuff. Quite loud. I had reached a point where I went home with ringing ears because booths here sound horrendous, unfortunately. And everything's too loud, and you just have to turn up too loud. Or you stay in the middle of just the subs are under the stage, and it's just... And then for my live show, I was like, man, I got to have as much clarity. I need to be able to hear what I do with my machine. So it's like, okay, invest. Got these done, and then DJ'd with them, and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
They're very boring sounding. They're not nice, making things sound like nice and bass or whatever. But that's what I want. I want boring, flat.
Sound real.
Flat sounding things, and the sound isolation is so good, I have to only turn up to a quarter volume on a DJ mixer. Yeah. And then I mix just with the Q master knob.
Yep, gotcha.
I was going to say, because like usually when you're obviously when you're DJing, you've got one ear listening to what's going on the monitor, and then you've got this one. So it's all through the mixer.
You have your...
Did that take a while to get used to?
Yeah, I think so. I've been always kind of doing it like that anyway. But it's not that hard. It's the same if taking your ear off. It's just moving this thing to the left and having the master come through or your output.
And you probably can hear them all balanced.
Is a Q on here and then on the channel, master Q, and then on the channel that you want to...
Wait, do you mean you don't need to use the monitors to mix? You can just have it all going through your headphones?
Well, yes, but I mean, you still got to listen to what's going on out there, you know.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if you're at home practicing...
I can see where this is going.
Do you need to listen with the monitors, or can you just use headphones? Richard, tell me.
At home, unfortunately, that only works with monitors.
Yeah. Sorry.
Someone and I are going
to just has to keep playing them. You have to keep listening. Yeah, you're doing great, honey. Well done.
I slept once.
But I think it's like I've been encouraging all my friends. I have this friend I play back to back with, Jake the Snake, Jake Rattler. He's amazing. You should get him on. He's the nicest guy. Great DJ as well. When I play back to back with him and he gets me the headphones, it's blast. It's every time so loud that I'm like, man, you need to chill. Like, even get some Shure. Are they Shure? Yeah, Shure in-ear, the over-the-ear ones. Yeah, they're pretty good with the foam tips. They're not custom, but it will already give you that feeling of how that would be to mix with those. And that's all you need. A tiny case, and that's your USBs and your headphones.
That's cool. So you're wireless right now?
Yeah.
Getting geeky. You're wireless right now. Do you do that for DJ sets? Or
I
is
do
it
that for
delayed too
DJ
much?
sets. No.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Well, don't really tethered to the mixer.
No.
If I have to turn around and make cocktails for everybody in the booth.
No shit.
Yeah, I like it. It's like you just plop it in. I have this already wired up through the back. It's in my pocket. It's on, and then I just have this.
But the delay doesn't matter. I mean, there's always going to be a little delay.
5 milliseconds.
And that's
5 milliseconds is you cannot hear it.
Yeah. There are gamers at home
20
going right now going,
yeah.
5 milliseconds is too much. No.
20 milliseconds is when it starts to get audible and you start get into phasing and flamming,
Right.
basically. But 5 milliseconds is
that's nothing.
whatever. Like it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
Have you had any equipment malfunctions while you've been playing live?
All the time.
How do you deal with that? Apart from shit yourself. I'm sure you don't shit yourself, but
so
obviously.
I had a couple of emergency loops where the Soundtech Explorer, for example, was like trying to get the turntable and ding the USB and then emergency loop. I think Pioneer are massive assholes for not making sure that the whole track is loaded into RAM. I don't know what they're not doing that. And then we had something like, okay, hold your horses. I play with sync all the time. Everybody, shame.
Jesus.
Shame. No,
But you know what? When we had Owen on here, he said he hadn't beat Match for like 10 years.
yeah, he plays tractor.
You know, exactly, yeah. So it's like, yeah.
It's my favorite tool. One of my favorite tools in the tool bag
Yeah.
is a sync because I can focus on doing cool transitions between tracks.
Yeah.
Musically interesting stuff, tight loops,
Yep.
all that kind of shit that like I don't have to do because of sync, which means like my mixes are always tight.
Yep.
My transitions are always smooth. I never have any like whips situation, but I'm getting to where sometimes, of course, you have whip situations where the beat grid is not done well, and then it's like, shit. But I can mix fine without it. But it's just if you're in a high stress environment of playing to 5,000 people, push those buttons, man. It's like not a problem.
I think
less to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
you're not going to get anyone on the dance floor going, "Oh, sing, come off."
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one
Yeah.
gives a shit. You can play with an iPhone and get Tractor or something on your iPhone and play. If you're having a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, DJing is just you press play and then you maneuver the things every 6 minutes or something.
Yeah. Have you ever dabbled with vinyl?
I have. I release vinyl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. Your album's actually on vinyl available,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
my old one was too sold out.
Yeah. Really?
Cool.
Wow,
Pink.
that is awesome.
This one is this one's gone pretty flying off the shelves.
That's fantastic.
So anyone out there, if you want a copy, make sure to head over to Bandcamp and get one of the last remaining 5 copies or whatever, 2, 4, something.
So do you make much money out of the music that you produce, or is it all through DJing?
Ha 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 ha. I have a full-time job. That should tell you. It should tell you everything.
Yeah.
Nope. No one makes money of releasing music anymore, especially in the house and techno scene. You make money by playing shows and touring.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's what everybody does, right? If you're in a band or whatever. But I feel like we're getting to a point where I get enough streams that like maybe once a year I get like $60 here or
No shit.
from the UK like
right?
£90. Damn, that was nice. I was like, babe, we're going out.
We're going out. We're having one cocktail each.
Exactly.
We'll go out for Macca's. That's all we can afford.
Unfortunately, streaming services are just,
Killing it.
whatever. This is bullshit. You don't put your music on streaming services to get money. You do that to get exposure. And if you're lucky, I did a calculation or something the other day. I'm in like the top. I have 30,000 monthly listeners. I'm in the top 10% of Spotify.
Whoa.
There's so much people that get 0 listens. Like 0. And like 25 and 12, like 30,000 monthly listeners is fuck all. But there's so much music out there that doesn't get heard. And so if you get one editorial placement, playlist placement, or, something, your tracks is getting views or listens, that's what you do it for.
Yeah.
Because that means like you're growing an audience somehow. And you make sure you link everything to your socials and
All right. Yeah.
Do you do a podcast? Do you do a mixed podcast?
No, I haven't done a mix.
Because you've done a few guest ones, right?
I haven't done a mix in like a long time. Like recently, I was just getting back into it. But getting back into it, I really enjoy it because it's like this. I can play the tracks that I like, but that don't fly at 12 at night or something. So just make like those deeper ones, but it's also a time thing. You know, you have to find those tracks. So, but yeah, I would like to make more things, but just a regular thing. I have too many regular things already.
Like a child.
Yeah. 9 to 5.
So give us some details what you've got coming up over the next summer, which is the next 4 months.
Let me get my my trusty. Oh yes. Rolling Stone just posted my thing. Oh, that's nice.
Well, tell us
about
what
that.
is that?
I just saw that. So the Rolling Stone, they just asked they're like, hey, a cool album. Tell us something about every track. And so I wrote this thing about every track, and they just released that.
Wow! So people can see that online. They go to Rolling Stone.
You can go to Rolling Stone and read my thoughts about my music, which is kind of like journalism has gotten really really lazy. But
the song is awesome.
Yeah, it's basically. What does
pretty
it mean?
awesome.
It means
is it Rolling Stone New Zealand or is it
that's
a global
Australia.
thing? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
I didn't think New Zealand have a Rolling Stone.
They have. It's Australia. And then they have a page for New Zealand. I think.
Featuring you.
Hey, that's pretty cool. Okay, we're not.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
I'm trying to find this list. I have no internet here. Give me a second. Aha. So once my profile loads, I'm playing lots of festivals. Bigger ones, smaller ones, and it's not loading. Okay.
Off the top of your head, come on.
The next one is in Queenstown. In 2 weeks, I'll be doing a music conference on a Friday. It's called This Kind of Day, and it's got a music conference with Josh Butler, Dawley.
Oh, Josh.
He's a good dude. Frank Booker, and I'll talk about like what I just talked about, like finishing tracks and accepting new shit and all this kind of stuff and moving on and learning from your failures and like all these kind of things. Still have to figure out how I'm going to structure this, but it's going to be good. And then the day after we're playing at this festival, and then end of December is Basement Jack's gig. This is called Love Your Ways or something.
Oh, yep.
And then New Year's we're going to be in Waiheke, and then here we go. Nest Fest in Hastings, which is awesome. Just like different.
When's that?
That's 5th of Jan or something.
I think I'm in Hastings at that time.
Yeah.
I might come down.
Come down. It's gonna be cool. It's a cool festival. I really like what they're doing, and I'm very like surprised that they decided to book me, because normally they're more into like the like the UK kind of based hipster house, I call it.
Yeah.
Which is mean music, but it's not what I play at all. But they're like, hey man, just give us a flavor of Sanoi this summer. Then we're doing in Golden Bay a little one, Sonorous with Carl Cox and
Sonorous,
Juliet Fox.
Nice.
It's gonna be fun. Shipwrecked in February, and then Splore on the Friday, Electric Avenue in Christchurch on the Saturday, and then Chihuahua Town in Australia on the Sunday.
Well, that's a busy weekend.
Yeah, I know. I think I should take Monday off.
That's awesome.
I think you should take the rest of the week off.
And then that's little festival in Paro, and then finishing off that run in Wellington at Homegrown.
Cool. Right,
Nice.
we'll list all of those in the description below. Most of them, I'll probably forget what he just told me. We'll put it all there. And where can they find you? Where's the best place to listen to your stuff?
I think anywhere where you like to listen to music, it's like Spotify. The devil, but my catalog is pretty well stacked there. Apple Music, Deezer, I'm pretty sure, like Tidal, of course.
Yep.
Any of those. YouTube.
YouTube, all of it.
Yeah.
Mean. All right. Well, thank you very much. We'll wrap it up there. But thank you, Sanoi, for coming on in and sharing some of your insights. And we're definitely going to be catching up with you over the summer because by the sounds of those, we're going to be at most of those anyway. Gigs?
Catch me at the beginning when I'm still full of energy.
No, that's the best part. We'll film you at the beginning when they're full of energy, and we'll film you at the end when you're collapsing and babies crawling all over you.
Yeah.
It'll be great. Well, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, thanks, man.
This has been awesome. Thank you very much. Wicked.
Thanks.